guys got into that role, when you landed the role, started shooting, did you have any even speck of an idea of how big it might potentially be of a film, and how much of a huge portion of Americana it's become?
And what movie is this? For me, I had no idea. I mean, the director, John Avildsen, would say that to me. You know, he said when the movie was cut together, as a filmmaker, he started to see he had something, but you really don't know until, you know, you folks get a shot to look at it, what the reaction is. So, and for us, it's just beyond what's happened now, 40 years. Did I say that?
When they came and pitched it to me, it was out of left field. Karate Kid was years ago. I never would imagine that they could do a reboot. Johnny Lawrence would ever live again.
When we do have a fight scene, you know, every spare moment where you're not shooting another sequence, you go to the stunt trailer and you work out spinning crescent kicks, forward kicks, whatever, and you're drilled. You know, you really worked, and I think our stunt stuff is terrific. You know, the two of them do, you know, really great stuff. They give me easier things, you know, and
They're starting to give me easier things too.
I think, especially like Tori has turned into a wonderful, you know, martial artist. And I remember the first scene when she fought Sholo in the dojo. And she wasn't very good. And I remember the stunt woman having to come in every other take to do the same move.
You know, the preconceived notion, he was Arnold on Happy Days, right? So I was like, Arnold on Happy Days is gonna play this great mentor in this movie? This thing is gonna be, like, I knew what I was talking about. But, and when I met him, he instantly embodied this character. He knew where all the beats were. He knew where the joke, the humor was, because he was a comic at heart. He knew there was a responsibility as a Japanese American to be honest and truthful to the heritage and this character and his backstory. And I was just, it was just a wake-up call to me. One, as far as from a perspective of what an actor does and what an actor can do and what your preconceived stereotypical notions are. And he was just very kind, giving, open, and that happened instantly, and it just built throughout the years. And I think a big part of that is what you see on the screen and his portrayal of that magnificent character. So that's just one piece of what I still have, and when we kind of all do.
Like working on Black Widow.
Oh, knowing that Scarlett was going to die. Yeah, yeah. Her character dies. Yeah, it was actually really important. We talked about it early on. He sort of conveys to her that you shouldn't die for a cause, but that you should die for other people that you love. This idea, and I think it was partially about that scene with her and Hawkeye, that you have her dying somewhat for a cause, but also somewhat for her friend Hawkeye, who she's loved. And that was a bit of that idea of Budapest, the two of them, that's never quite brought into the movie, but we were very conscious of trying to craft something around that. And I really love that idea of doing a movie with someone who you know is ultimately going to be, you know, dead in like the next movie. It's very interesting to think what their last moments were, their last years. My life is a nightmare when I talk at all, because I literally say anything. I'll be like, you know, like I said, I was going down to Atlanta in a couple days to start work on Stranger Things. And if there's anyone in the press here, feel free to write clickbait articles to your heart's content about what that means and what David Harbour intends and how he's giving away spoilers. I'm like, I don't know what I can say anymore, but I'll tell you exactly what happens with Joyce and Hopper from the first scene in season 5 to when it ends. Lies, lies, lies. There are several Hopper things that we want to pay off in season 5, and one of them, of course, is Chopper. And there's also, I'm sure you can imagine, I don't need to tell you, that there are other important relationships that Hopper needs to pay off. Winona's terrific, she's lovely, she's such a good actress. I mean, that's really my favorite thing. It's like, it's so surprising to work with her. It's so, never what you expect, and I always love being surprised. And she's just got such a warm heart, which I think is rare to find, just this beating heart. I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble with people no matter what I say here. I mean, I'll just say this. I'm a very professional person. I take what I do very seriously. And I want to play the character to the fullest of their extent so the audience experiences a catharsis. So in that way, I have to, as Hopper, really, really, really enjoy kissing Joyce. And so I did my best to do that on the day. Yeah, your math is terrible, man. I know you're trying to hedge it because you're saying like 2 Demogorgons. You don't need to, man. 1 Demogorgon would take out 10 Demodogs in a heartbeat. I mean, that thing is like brutal. You see, in season 4, we really developed it. Season 1, it's still floundering around in a hallway. Season 4, it's like in a gladiatorial arena, climbing the walls and ripping apart 20 guys. So yeah, please, Demodogs, boo.
You need to take that up with Dustin. He said.
What's that?
He said that he thinks the Demodogs will win because there's
Yeah, I mean,
power in the
Gaten is, Gaten's a moron. We know this. I think the real fun in this business nowadays, the fun pocket, is the stuff that's a little bit off kilter and weird, but has heart and humor and all that stuff. I think we're sort of tired of the same old stuff, and we need to see new, novel stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, we took a risk on Violent Night, and we were like, I don't know if this works, and the whole time, but I poured my heart and soul into that thing, and you know, the fact that you guys responded to that was so gratifying, because as I say, it's a risk, and you don't know. I mean, when it's coming out, I was like, this could be terrible. This could be the end of my career. I was like, thank God I still have 1 more season of Stranger Things. But yeah, I'm just so gratified that you guys loved it, and I want to make more risky movies, and I also know that, you know, Universal really wants a Violent Night sequel. Yeah. And the line is, it's your grandma.
It's your grandma. What? It's your grandma.
Yeah!
No, I don't think so.
And for some reason, I found that so funny that day. It's your grandma. And I swear to God, it was like 2 hours of me laughing, and they kept trying to film. And it's funny, a wave of experience, because you start out like for the first like 5 takes, like I keep breaking and everyone's laughing, like, oh, David, let's get it together. Like, well, and then, you know, like take 20, everybody's just staring glassy-eyed. I'm still breaking. And people are just like horrified. Like an hour goes by and they're like, this is, no, we're never gonna make it. And then it gets really funny. It's taken so much time. And we've wasted so much money. And we're all just like howling on set. So about, if you want to take bloopers and be bad in the scene, let it go for about an hour and a half. And then people really start laughing, and then you get fired. Thunderbolts, you know, we're gonna get going fairly soon, so don't shoot me, Marvel. And it's a great take on these losers of the MCU. It's like real heroes on the ground in super suits and helmets, like, you know, doing their thing. So, yeah, I'm really psyched to make it, and I'm really psyched to shoot it. I'm really psyched to get back to that Alexei-Yelena relationship, and again, deepen it and make it more complex and show you kind of who Red Guardian's made of. 2 years of pretty steady work, so I do want to say that this will probably be the last time I'll be at an appearance like this for a long time. And so, you know, it's really nice to see all of you, and it's really nice what you say to me, the impact that the work we do has, because it's very galvanizing on those late nights when things are really hard to think that, you know, I really want to do a good job, I really want to make something beautiful so that you guys can enjoy it as much as you do. So, thank you, and I'll see you when I see you.
I think I'll stand until I start to collapse. And then I'm getting to be so freaking old, you know. It's and what happens is, constitutionally, you start thinking about the past. You think about how your life has gone and has it been worthwhile, and you feel, you know, some degree of pride in what you've accomplished, or some degree of embarrassment in what you failed to do. So I find that I do a lot of thinking about the old days and how I started. And, you know, they came from the mailroom, most of these guys, and they don't really have the understanding, the comprehension of how significant this whole Star Trek world is. You know, how many shows that have been created and how many star actors have been created from Star Trek. There's a story that I've told so many times that I'm afraid that I will just be repeating myself, but I'm running out of things to say, so I'm going to tell it again. When I went in to read for Chekhov, by the way, the character's name was Jones. Does that give you a hint? I didn't know that. And this is not hyperbole. I'm telling you the absolute truth. Once in a while, I have been known to do that. So, Captain, the ship is about to blow up. What are we going to do? Those are the lines, you know. So I read it like that. Clenched jaw, furrowed brow, nostrils flaring. And nobody said anything. You know, I got done, and then it was as quiet as a graveyard. And I thought, well, either they're so stunned by my performance, you know, or they're stupefied by it. And there was a woman sitting on a stool, 7 o'clock in the morning. And he looks in at her, and she sees him, and she waves. It's very sweet. They do it a second time in rehearsal. They probably did it 3 times in rehearsal. And they said, okay, we're going to shoot now. All right, and action. And George comes down the street, looks in the window, and she goes.